Marie Osmond explains the reasons behind her split from Andy Gibb. On October 13, 1959, Marie Osmond was born Olive Marie Osmond in Ogden, Utah. Being the eighth of 9 children in the renownedly gifted Osmond family, Marie was surrounded by music, rehearsals, and the fast-paced world of entertainment. However, she showed a calm resolve and a natural composure from an early age, suggesting she would grow into much more than just another member of a prosperous musical family. George and Olive Osmond, her parents, instilled in all of their children a strong work ethic, a steadfast religion, and the conviction that entertainment ought to improve people. And Marie would uphold these fundamental principles throughout her entire career. When the Osmonds were ruling the airways and television screens in the early 1970s, Marie made her debut on the national scene. Marie's preference for country music, in contrast to her brother's pop band, both distinguished her and demonstrated her artistic tendencies. When she was barely 13 years old in 1973, she made headlines in the country music industry with her #1 hit, Paper Roses. She became a household name almost immediately when the song shot to the top of the country charts. Audiences were able to immediately relate to her because of her youthful genuineness and voice, which mixed sweetness with unexpected emotional depth. She demonstrated that she had her own talent and star quality and wasn't merely following in her illustrious family's footsteps. But Marie Osmond's career took off in ways that went much beyond country music. She co-founded the renowned Donnie and Marie variety show with her brother Donnie in 1976. With music, comedic sketches, colorful costumes, and friendly sibling banter, the show became a cultural phenomenon that aired weekly in millions of American living rooms. Marie was one of the most well-known artists of the time thanks to her elegant stage appearance, fast comedic timing, and innate friendship with Donnie. Her position as a major force in entertainment was cemented by the show's popularity, which also exposed her to a larger audience. One of the most cherished variety shows in television history is Donnie and Marie, even after several decades. Marie's development as an artist progressed over the years. In addition to touring widely and releasing numerous albums in both the pop and country genres, she proved that she was much more than just a singer. With roles in theater plays, specials, and television movies, she rose to fame as an actor. Her ability to portray traditional theatrical roles with grace and emotional depth was demonstrated during her tour of the United States in The King and I. Her affable demeanor and captivating appearance also made her a perfect choice for talk programs and reality TV, such as her enduring co-host position on The Talk, where viewers were drawn to her candor, humor, and openness. Marie Osmond's impact extends beyond entertainment into philanthropy, particularly through her co-founding of the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, a charity that has raised billions of dollars to fund pediatric healthcare. Her deep-seated compassion and desire to actually change the world are reflected in her decades of dedication to the cause. Her heart is just as remarkable as her talent, as evidenced by this contribution, which many admirers view as one of her greatest legacies. In subsequent years, Marie and Donnie put on a record-breaking residency in Las Vegas. For 11 years, their show attracted viewers of all ages, proving that their incredible chemistry and timeless appeal had never diminished. The warmth, enthusiasm, and joy that first captivated the globe decades ago were evident in every performance. Their 2019 farewell performance felt like the end of an era, but it also demonstrated how much fans still adore them. She and Donnie Osmond rekindled their renowned collaboration from 2008 to 2019 with an exciting residency at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas, following decades of development as performers. A long-running partnership that turned into one of the Strip's most cherished programs. Their undeniable chemistry, nostalgic appeal, and high-energy shows that included music, humor, dancing, and sheer sister magic drew crowds to the theater every night. A 2009 CD honoring their iconic duets was inspired by the popularity of their residency. Presenting the vibrant sound that fans have been experiencing live in a refined studio setting. Never satisfied with her legacy, she kept pursuing new artistic endeavors. She returned to the public eye in 2010 with the release of her solo studio album, I Can Do This. A production that demonstrated the breadth of her emotions and confirmed her reputation as a dynamic voice. 6 years later, with Music is Medicine 2016, a country-infused compilation that embodied both artistic reinvention and emotional resiliency, she broadened her musical horizons even more. Then, in 2021, she shocked listeners once more with Unexpected, one of her most ambitious albums to date. This expansive classical crossover endeavor unveiled a daring new aspect of her skill. Around the same time, she expanded her television visibility by co-hosting the popular daytime talk show The Talk from 2019 to 2020, where she shared warmth, comedy, and poignant personal insights with millions of people. She also carried on with her acting career, making appearances in a number of Lifetime films, including as the highly anticipated Christmas edition in 2020. Her album Unexpected from 2021 considered a seminal work of art. She acknowledged that at first, she was anxious about going so far outside of her musical comfort zone by experimenting with operatic and classic pop, genres that were very different from what many had anticipated from her. However, she clarified that she decided to welcome the challenge and not be scared of a new opportunity. A sumptuous film was the end outcome. Performed on recordings with the Prague Symphony Orchestra. It included her mesmerizing rendition of Nessun Dorma, which she had played live for years but had now recorded in all its lofty, dramatic intensity. Other choices gave her the chance to demonstrate her vocal strength and emotional depth, including timeless Broadway favorites like Climb Every Mountain and the poignant On My Own. Unexpected was a huge hit when it was first released. It debuted at number 6 on the US Classical Albums list and shot to the top of the Classical Crossover Albums chart. Its reception demonstrated that, even after decades in the public glare, she could continue to reinvent herself with grace, audacity, and unmistakable brilliance. It also demonstrated that audiences accepted her artistic leap. The public has long been fascinated by Marie Osmond's personal life, especially her marriages, not because of scandal or controversy but rather because her journey exemplifies growth, resiliency, and the complexity of human relationships. She was initially married to Stephen Lyle Craig, a former Brigham Young University basketball player. When they got married in 1982, Marie was juggling a demanding profession in entertainment with her wish to start a secure, private family. Despite their loving connection, they had to deal with the difficulties that young couples, particularly those in the public eye, frequently endure. They decided to obtain a divorce in 1985 after 3 years of dating, which Marie has always called a painful but ultimately defining moment. The two continued to appreciate one another even after their marriage ended. And their relationship never quite faded. Following Craig's divorce, Marie started a new chapter in her life by being married to Brian Blossel in 1986. This marriage was the longest and most complicated of her partnerships, lasting over 20 years. Together, they created a house filled with commitment and a common goal, as well as a huge and loving family that included both biological and adopted children. There were many happy times in their lives together, but there were also many sad ones, such as family health issues and emotional challenges that tried their fortitude. In 2007, Brian finally announced their split, ending a major chapter in her life, despite their lengthy devotion and years of collaboration. Marie made it clear that the choice was made jointly and was based on their shared wish for healing and serenity even as they were saying goodbye. Many years after their first divorce, Marie eventually got back in touch with her first husband, Stephen Lyle Craig, in an unexpected but incredibly moving turn of events. They regained a connection that was more than just sentimental. It was based on a sense of maturity, understanding, and a fresh appreciation for the things that had initially brought them together as children. Their restored romance grew organically, causing them to be married again in 2011. After over 30 years apart, this reunion captivated people worldwide, who recognized in their narrative a moving reminder that love can change, come full circle, and return home. Marie has frequently expressed her sincere gratitude for life's unplanned second chances and how this second marriage demonstrates both enduring love and a strong feeling of thankfulness. Marie Osmond did it with a blend of introspection, tenderness, and hard-won clarity when she finally decided to talk about her brief but extensively talked about relationship with the late pop sensation Andy Gibb. Even if their connection was brief, it had long been ingrained in the public consciousness, as if it had been kept in a sort of sentimental amber. Two young celebrities at the pinnacle of their careers in music and television, lured into each other's world with the intensity that comes only from pressure, youth, and celebrity. Behind the glossy photos and magazine covers, however, Marie maintained, there was a much more nuanced emotional reality. She clarified that Andy was exceedingly charming and skilled, and it was hard to resist his enthusiasm. But at that point in my life, there were things he was going through for which I was just unprepared. Marie called their relationship genuine, even charming. However, she underlined that it was overshadowed by Andy's internal conflicts, which he frequently attempted to conceal behind his contagious smile and seemingly easy charm. Even on the most tiring days, he could make her laugh, and she acknowledged that she liked his compassion. She did, however, recall becoming increasingly concerned that Andy's emotional burden was too much for them both to handle. She remarked, "I cared about him, but I could see he was going through struggles that love couldn't resolve." Her statements had the soft melancholy of someone who had first hoped for a better outcome but ultimately realized that safeguarding her own emotional health was essential. The demands of their jobs also contributed significantly to their split, Marie said as she continued to think. They were both under continual scrutiny from the entertainment industry, traveling, practicing, and performing all the time. Even when their schedules coincided, Andy's intense personal struggles frequently dominated their time together. "We were very young," she said. "In the entertainment industry, everything is amplified when you are young. Your feelings, your anxieties, and the demands that others have of you. Distinguishing your own voice from the background noise gets quite challenging." Marie also admitted to feeling pulled in two different directions a lot. Her urge to help Andy and her natural tendency to shy off from a situation she felt would eventually become too much for her to handle. She clarified that even back then, she understood that she was unable to provide Andy with the security, composure, and sense of grounding he required while juggling her own busy work. She remarked, "It wasn't that I didn't want to help, but I came to the realization that I couldn't save him, and it would have been unfair to act otherwise." Her choice to leave their relationship was ultimately motivated by a profound understanding that love, no matter how sincere, cannot take the place of healing rather than a lack of affection. It also can't replace the inward work that people have to perform. She thought, "I wanted the best for Andy. And letting go is sometimes necessary if you want the best for someone. I genuinely wanted him to be happy, even if it wasn't with me, and I hoped he would find peace." She acknowledged that some relationships, no matter how promising or brilliant they seem, are not intended to last, and her voice, even in hindsight, held a sad blend of sorrow and affection. Marie recalled their breakup with compassion rather than bitterness. In a world that hardly ever provided stability, each was looking for it in their own unique way.